It's a special Sunday story when a Fox News anchor absolutely disagrees and smacks down the pro-Trump guest that they have on. And who could possibly be the subject of this great story? Well, of course, it's Joe Rogan and Donald Trump, bantering somewhere between a bromance and a love-hate relationship, which I'm going to show you in just a couple seconds. We never know, all surrounding an absolute lie related to Kamala Harris. You just can't write this kind of stuff, but it writes itself. And in terms of Trump and Rogan, they are a twosome train wreck you just can't figure out.
All right, so Joe Rogan has been in a lot of controversy recently because people thought he endorsed RFK Jr. on his podcast the other day, which upset a lot of Donald Trump fans, and even Trump himself. He responded to it, and he was not happy. And it's funny because Trump responded even after Joe clarified that he didn't actually endorse RFK Jr., and he also praised Trump for taking a bullet to the ear and getting up and yelling fight afterwards. He said it was one of the most American things of all time.
Ah, yes, the orange hair train wreck with Rogan at his absolute finest being worst.
And a lot of Trump fans are still trying to argue that Joe did originally endorse RFK, and now he's just backpedaling since he got a lot of backlash, which it does kind of seem like that. But also, it's just crazy that people were this surprised that Joe would endorse RFK. I mean, people are acting like this just came out of nowhere and they're blindsided by it.
And the only one who's not doing that is Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
You a fan?
Yeah, I am a fan.
You should do the same thing, Joe, because you cannot be voting for Kamala.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the wildest, most compelling moments from former President Donald Trump's hotly anticipated appearance on Joe Rogan's smash hit podcast.
First of all, I love this idea of you teaming up with Robert Kennedy.
Prompted by Rogan to reflect on regrets he had from his time in the Oval Office, President number 45 didn't hesitate in revisiting a familiar talking point, insulting those he personally feels have wronged him. In this case, that was a number of appointments he made as president, including the, quote, idiot John Bolton, as well as his former chief of staff John F. Kelly.
He's bad. Bolton was an idiot.
In what was perhaps the most eyebrow-raising moment of Trump's entire Joe Rogan experience, the former president casually floated his belief that there may be life on Mars. The highlight occurred when Rogan challenged Trump on his suggestion, and the president responded by doubling down. Whether you love Trump or hate him, it's inarguable that he's an entirely unique personality.
I mean, there's no reason not to think that Mars and all these planets don't have life, because
Mars, we've had probes there and rovers, and I don't think there's any life there.
Well, maybe it's life that we don't know, but maybe
there was life there at one point in time.
But the best part about this breaking story is the Fox News anchor is right. And the guest is once again espousing propaganda that Kamala Harris is doing something wrong when, whoopsie poop, it's not her, it was Joe Rogan. Take a look.
What does Trump get out of a 3-hour sit down with Joe Rogan and that particular audience, which went off into, are there aliens in outer space and lots of other stuff? It racked up 11 million views in just less than a day.
Right. In under 10 hours, I'll add, it racked up over, 10, 11 million views. And you know how of course, Trump waxed philosophical about extraterrestrial topics and, whale psychiatry and other wonky things. But this interview humanized him. And that's the net benefit to his campaign, because with every TV hit that Kamala Harris does, she comes off more bitter, more angry, and more jaded, whereas Trump comes off as a normal guy. And this audience that Joe Rogan caters to is predominantly Gen Z. It's young people. His pop culture podcast alone has an audience of 14 million people. So, Kamala Harris claims she's trying to cater to the younger generation, but she's sticking to legacy media interviews for the most part, and she refused to go on Rogan.
Well, no, I don't think that's true. I think she wanted to go on Joe Rogan, and I don't think Rogan wanted her. I think it would have been a good thing if she'd gone. So even though...
Yeah, there you have it. Again, another person to the bubble of the audience telling somebody that Kamala Harris refused to go on Joe Rogan when it's Joe Rogan who refused to have her. The standard media bias you would expect. Of course, the hysterical part being is the interview humanized him and made him seem like a normal guy. God, he's anything but, and God bless that anchor for at least correcting her on the fact that it's about Joe Rogan's denial, not Kamala Harris. Folks, Vote Harris Walls. Don't boo. Just go vote.